Alrighty, so we are going to be looking at the final boss Escanor as he has returned finally. And just as a disclaimer, this boss is pretty hard, so if you can't beat it on the highest difficulty or anything, feel free to go to a lower difficulty. It is completely fine. If you're newer to the game or anything, this guy sucks. He's really hard. So don't feel bad. Just do whatever you can. Grab whatever you can out of the shop. Don't worry about doing it too many times if you don't have to. This guy is tough. So with that out of the way, we have 3 different teams that I want to kind of look at today. There is, of course, 2 different points teams. You can see right here that the top guy actually has they consider it the giant team, even though it does use LR Liz. That is going to be one of the unfortunate factors here, is that both of these high-level sort of like points teams are both using LR Liz. So if you don't have her, it is kind of a weird thing there. If you guys have any sort of other teams that you're using or anything that is sort of working for you that maybe doesn't require some of these characters or anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let us know what team you're using. That way it could help somebody else out. But as far as the points teams goes, we're going to be looking at the giant team and the goddess team, and then we also have a fast farm team as well. So there should be timestamps and everything like that down below on the video. Feel free to skip ahead if you need to, but let's hop in first with the goddess team, which is the one that people are kind of using. I'm honestly not 100% sure what your best food here is going to be, but I'm going to go attack food just because one of the big parts of Escanor is you get him below 30%, he gains immunity for 2 turns, and he basically just cannot take any damage, which is really unfortunate. So with this team in particular, the only quests you're going to be able to do are clear without anyone dying and deal over 400,000 damage. So do keep that in mind. The buff removal part of Liz's passive does not actually work as a buff cancel skill, so it doesn't work in that regard. I keep the first 3 ticked. You could probably put on the ultimate moves one instead if you really wanted to. Oh, I forget. I'm not actually going to be able to use food, so maybe we just throw it like this for this round. Typically, if you want to get it over with a lot faster, you can try to use ultimate moves to just like rush for an ultimate, use the ult to kill in the phase, and then push the phase like that, because obviously ultimates are going to do a lot more damage than the regular cards will, and with the regular cards, there's a lot more risk of you hitting that 30% damage mark and him gaining immunity for 2 turns, and it's really going to slow you down. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. So another thing to note is, like, just for the run in general, in Phase 2, he actually has an over-rupture skill in this slot right here, which means that he does 10 times damage to buffed allies, which, if you're a newer player, maybe your team isn't built up nearly as much as mine is, you're probably not going to be able to take that hit very lightly. It's going to do a lot of damage. Even with the characters that I have, even after we've sort of done several turns and everything like that, I've gotten a lot of like passives and everything built up. I still take quite a bit of damage. Like, he normally does over half of my HP with that card, but a lot of people in my chat were saying that they were absolutely getting dominated by it. Like, just any time that they were getting hit by it, they were either losing a character or completely wiping. So, like I said, if you're newer or you don't have like a really highly built-up team, have no shame in going for a lower difficulty or something like that, because honestly, ooh, this might be perfect. We got him just above 30% right here, and we push phase really fast. That's really good, because if you can beat it within 10 turns, you also get some extra score. So we'll see how that goes. The one thing to note here is that going into the second phase, he locks your ultimate move gauge and seals your ultimate usage, so you can't just rush an ultimate and try to kill him like immediately here. So I think what we're going to do is just maybe throw some of this stuff out for the turn 1. He does have this HP related stats buff up here, which is it makes him quite a bit tankier. So if you can get this card right here with Liz, you can actually remove that, which he's going to put on some buffs as well, so we'll just go ahead and remove those as well. And then maybe he gets rid of that ultimate, which is good. We should get some card draw there. Of course, we merge that. I think what we're going to do is use this, and then this, and then that is going to merge those. We'll just go for some hand space here, nothing too crazy, which I guess technically I do have the no ultimate moves one ticked, so we're just going to try to beat him without ultimate moves if possible. I haven't tried to do it this way. We were messing around with it earlier on stream, and I genuinely don't know how well it's going to go, but we'll see, I guess. He doesn't have debuff immunity or anything on this one. Here's the over rupture skill. You can see that's a lot. That is a lot of damage. In the first phase, if he gets full ultimate move gauge, he actually does gain debuff immunity and everything, or it's buff and debuff immunity actually, so it can be kind of annoying because you won't be able to actually remove his buffs or anything, which I guess they get removed anyway, so it's not a big deal. But if you're going for points and stuff like that, especially with the giant team, for example, you need to be able to use Scotty's buff removal skill to gain more points and stuff like that, so it can be a little bit annoying in the first phase. So we don't have like a really heavy hitting card here to maybe push phase or like to try to kill in this next turn. So I genuinely don't know that we're going to be able to kill here. We're probably going to have to stall for a turn. He's going to use an ultimate and the over rupture skill here, which is really bad for us. So I think what we're going to do is throw on this this gold defense related stats card. Hopefully that's going to be enough to keep us in a decent spot here. I'm not honestly too sure, and then we'll go for this. Sometimes this card can deal a decent amount of damage, plus we'll get rid of his buffs. Unfortunately, that does get him below 30% anyway, so he's going to gain the immortality here, so, or not immortality, but invincibility. So we're just going to have to stall for 2 turns. We do gain her ultimate, but we're trying not to use ultimates here. I guess I could merge these. Ooh, okay, he hit Tarmiel, which means that he's going to Tarmiel link that back. Still some really big hits there. He does gain all of his HP back, which is really annoying. We're actually going to get our ultimates again doing this, which is going to kind of clog our hand up a little bit. I think we're just going to throw this card out, maybe. Because with every buff card that we use, we're gaining like stacks of Margaret's passive anyway. So that's kind of nice. We do get her ultimate. It would be so easy to just absolutely one-shot him with this ultimate. It does so good once you have her LR because it increases his damage dealt, and it's just a really good single target. But unfortunately, if I want to go for points here, I'm not going to be able to do that, which we're on turn 8. I'm tempted to just do it anyway. It's going to be really unfortunate if I do that. But it's going to take me forever to get through this because I don't have buff removal. He's getting a lot of buffs. I think I'm just going to just end it. It'll be okay. We'll just gain the attack-related stats from hers. We'll gain the attack buff from his, and then we'll just go ahead and hit it with the ultimate. Hopefully that will be enough to kill because we're just kind of... I'm not necessarily shooting for high points for just like this video per se. 2.2 is kind of insane, but just kind of showing you guys the team and how it sort of works. But let's see the score that we get on this. My current score was, ooh, okay, that's actually good. 7K is better than what I had. I only had 6.3K beforehand, so that actually was a pretty good run, even with us using an ultimate and we weren't supposed to. So I think if I had like really good RNG, I probably could have done better there, but that put me in top 3%, so I really can't complain. The other team that we're going to be using is the giant team, which I'm not as big of a fan. You kind of have to be careful with this one because this team is not nearly as tanky as the goddess team is, which means that when you get to that second phase, you're going to have to be really careful to not have the Liz card or the Liz buff on, or else you are going to do some really bad stuff with that over rupture card. Like, he is going to just demolish you. So you do have the stance in this one, though, so that's kind of nice. He won't be able to, like, ultimate your characters as easily. I know that most of the time in Phase 2, he'll ult my Liz, and if she's already taken a decent bit of damage, it could kill. It's kind of annoying, so in that regard, having the stance is kind of nice because she's really tanky and everything. Plus, you've got Matrona in the back, so you're just increasing the goddess stats quite a bit. So I think... I'm actually not 100% sure on this one, so we're going to use this. He does have buffs on. Can I kill here? I'm pretty confident in it. Okay, very good. Could have buff removal there. Would have really been nice, but just to kind of save on time, I don't want to I don't want to get too stuck doing a whole lot of, like, you know, point searching here. So let's go for this. That'll get rid of the buff, even though we could have technically buff removal. We'll just keep that for now, because he tends to buff himself in phase 2 anyway, or turn 2. So we're just going to put even more debuffs on our Scotty here. Depending on card draw, we do get a Scotty card. I might be able to push for the game here. It might be really early, and it might not be preferred to do that this early, but I'm kind of tempted to try it at the very least. So, I think we're gonna maybe go for that. So let's go for... Ooh, I don't have a way to buff remove with Liz, though. I think the Scotty card is gonna do too much damage. So let's do... this maybe? I'm not sure. It's going to depend on if this card does too much damage. Okay, looking pretty good. Okay, but this card didn't do enough. So now he has invincibility again. Not a huge deal. I guess we'll just have to stall for 2 turns. But you kind of get the picture. It's sort of similar in the sense that you're basically doing the same stuff as far as like cards go, but you're just trying to buff remove him if possible. You can see the Over Rupture card here doing not a lot of damage because we don't have any buffs on. Let's go ahead and remove those. I could maybe use this buff. Well, it lasts for 3 turns, and I think he uses the other card pretty frequently, so we're maybe not going to do that instead. Since I'm already buff removing with that, I'm just going to throw that card away, because if he keeps buffing and stuff like that, maybe we can continue to buff remove with Scotty instead, and maybe get that challenge done, but I think that was 6 buffs, if I'm not mistaken, so he would need to put, I think, 4 more buffs on before we could get that done, because I think you have to remove 10 buffs in total. Yeah, 10 buffs in total, so he is going to ult removal me here. We don't have a stance on anymore, which is a bit unfortunate. Actually, we can go ahead and put another stance on, so it doesn't even matter. So I think we're going to be 1 buff short of this, which is a bit unfortunate. But every time you remove a buff with a skill, it actually does give you some decent points. So the more you can do that, the more score you're going to hopefully get. But out of curiosity, what are we looking like with this one right here? Okay, 5.4. Obviously, much lower. I think this one is going to require a lot more RNG, or at least making sure that you can defeat the last enemy with an ultimate move during an ally's turn. Oh. I thought I was not supposed to be using the ultimate moves. I think I actually ended up playing into that with the Goddess team better than I thought I did. So that's actually kind of funny. I'm stupid. Anyway, the last team that we're going to show you is the Fast Farm team. Now, there has to be another Fast Farm team out there that is better than this one, or at least more accessible, I will say. This is probably the fastest, if I had to guess. But, yeah, obviously this thing is incredibly collab heavy. You have Mikasa in the back for her Holy Relic. You have, Rudius. You got the whole... You got the whole 9 yards as far as like collab characters go with this thing. You have 3 different collabs units in this thing, so it's just really fast. That's really all I can say. I'm sure that there is another team that does really like quick work of this fight, but just kind of mess around with it a little bit. If anybody, like I said, if anybody in the comments has any sort of suggestions or anything, feel free to let me know. But in this scenario, I think in Phase 2, we just go for something like this, because the AoE card from Eris actually does buff removal, so we can use that to get rid of this HP-related stats. Oh, it's only at level 2, though. I forgot, so maybe using one of these would have been better. I think we're going to end up becoming a bit short, yeah. So, not the fastest it could have been. I think I've just gotten lucky in the previous runs that I've done. I think maybe if I would have used an Eris card instead and then the Rudius card, I would have been better off there, but now I'm going to have to stall for 2 turns. You can kind of get the picture. You're going to have to mess around with this one a little bit. I haven't fast farmed that much since it just dropped, so I'm sure I'll get a little bit more practice in with this one as it sort of goes along. But at this point, he's using Over Rupture, and I'm pretty sure I am dead. So you can enjoy this quick death of mine, because I have, and I even got the merge there. That is insane. That's incredibly unlucky. So Eris takes a lot there. Over Rupture is absolutely going to demolish the whole team, and that's typically how this goes. So I'm going to need some practice with this one, of course, but you can kind of see how the fight is supposed to go. But either way, like I said, if you have any other fast farm teams, points teams, replacements for characters that maybe people don't have, feel free to leave those down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found this a little bit helpful. Feel free to ask any questions you might have. I don't know off the top of my head any like specific replacements for some characters, so I might not be able to help in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. Just ask away, and I'll try to see if I can help. So either way, subscribe. I will see you guys later.